Hello and welcome to Masala Musings with me, Kari Bacha. You're listening to my show on the Single to Shadi podcast network, where I have a story for almost everything around being independent, single, dating, and just living my best life in general. If you like what I'm talking about, please follow us on all major platforms and leave a 5-star rating. As I've decided to start every episode with, a musing is defined as a period of reflection or thought, which includes contemplation, deliberation, meditation on thoughts. So today's musing will be about me. I'm going to reflect on myself and talk about my updates. And if you know, because you've been following me, you know that I usually do updates like up like capital U, capital D, because I have dates to talk about. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and talk about myself, how I'm feeling, and generally what's up with me. I'm going to cover work, friends, and of course, dating. So, and it's just going to be like, how am I doing? Right? How am I doing? So starting off with work, well, I guess let's start off generally. Generally, how am I doing? Pretty good. Pretty good. Things could be better, but things aren't so terrible that I feel like my complaints are valid. Uh, Life has ups and downs, and right now it's just kind of like, I don't know. I don't think it's going up. I don't think it's going down. It's just kind of going. So I'm all right. And I genuinely, like, I've checked in with myself and I've had random days where I feel like things are just weird, but I do feel like I'm in an in between period of things getting better. I would love to hope, I would love to think, and not I would love to think, I am of the thinking that I don't think things are going to get worse. I really, knock on wood, I really hope that it doesn't get worse. But I do in my bones feel like things are going to get better. Things will turn a corner soon. That's the feeling that I have. But let's start with work. For those of you who know, you know that I lost my job a few days before my 34th birthday, which was also around the same time that I recorded my first episode of this podcast. So I've been applying for jobs for the past 6 months, and it is bleak. Uh, my career has always been tumultuous, so this isn't a new situation for me. But I've never not gotten interviews or screener calls like this, where it's just been so few. Um, and that's kind of scary. All I see on my LinkedIn is everyone kind of saying the same things, that the economy is so bad and the job market is so terrible. And people with careers longer than mine are also struggling to find work. And it's crazy. Old me, this would send old me into a tailspin entirely. But I'm doing things differently. So in the past, this would have fully consumed me, because everything comes down to, do you have a job that has a good title, good salary, or like a higher title, a higher salary than before, and at a good company, and blah da 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 da. But now I'm just kind of like, I just want like a I just want like a mid everything, like a mid-level role with enough money to for me to live. After all, I am single. I have no one else to financially be responsible for other than me. So I just want like a reasonable pay. And yeah, and as long as, honestly, as long as the company is not doing like terrible things, I'm just like, yeah, just somebody give me a job so that I can pay for my life, pretty much. Um I've been in my career path as an event marketer for 10 years, and I'm in the past year I've realized that like chasing clout for my career is not worth it. And while I do continue to do all the work to prove that I am working hard to find a job, I'm not letting it consume me and kind of affect my mental health uh in order to get a job, or in order to feel worthy for myself and who I am. I think it's very much an immigrant, or at least from my, I don't want to speak for everyone, but from my uh experience and perspective, we those of us who are children of immigrants, especially first generation, we are trying to prove and show that like the move that our parents made is worth it. We are succeeding, and those success markers are determined by like, are you making a lot of money? Do you have, or are you married? Are you X, Y, and Z? Like all these things. Did you go to a good school? Did you get a good job? Do you make a lot of money? Are you very successful and put together and all this other things? Um, and I've stopped giving myself that pressure because I'll be honest, I don't think my parents never put that sort of hard pressure on me. They're just like, we want you to be taken care of. We want you to do well. We want you to be able to afford things and live your life, whatever it is you're doing. So I very much appreciate that. But I used to put so much more pressure on myself. Like, and I just feel differently now. Not everything is about the status of things. Not everything is about that clout. Every company, every team, like there's bullshit everywhere. Um, like there's always some sort of budget to reconcile, and bottom line to meet. And it doesn't matter how much you love the company, love the team, love the message, love the job. You could still lose it. It doesn't matter if you're a contractor or, a beloved, full-time employee. You just don't really know what's going to happen, especially most of us are not privy to all that information. What, like who and how people might get cut. So yeah, uh, that's kind of just where I am. It's just that I don't want this to affect my mental health. I do the work that I need to get in front of people. I ask for the referrals. I apply on a dedicated basis, but I don't go crazy with like a million applications because I think kind of like dating, if I send 5 applications a week, from those, the right fit will come. I don't necessarily think that sending 100 applications a week is going to yield me the same thing. I think it would be more likely that I would have an interview and maybe I'd make it to the last round, or even if I got an offer, it wouldn't necessarily be a role that I wanted, or was, you know, or maybe cared for, versus I am now of the mindset of like, I would rather apply to 5 jobs in a week and know that I would really like any of those 5 jobs. And hopefully one of those would result in an actual offer. But anyway, uh, all the recruiters are saying the same thing to me, where yes, you do have to work hard and it's a numbers game, but it really just comes down to like timing and luck along with that consistency. So my side hustles are keeping me afloat financially. If any of you are worried about that for me, wondering how am I, affording to live life. Unemployment helped and my side hustles helped. I have a lot of little side things going on. So all of that supplemented me and I'm doing all right. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm also not so deeply, deeply concerned. It's just more of like I am living in awareness of like everything and what's going on rather than living in fear of what I don't have yet. And it's important to say yet because I will have these things. The other thing I notice is that every time I do have a moment where I'm like, shit, what am I going to do about my bills next month? Or like, oh, I didn't realize my account got so low after paying bills or whatever. Um, Either like the next unemployment payment is up, or one of my side hustles pops up and says, hey, can you actually work this and that? And I'm like, oh, cool, great. So I think that's a really cool way for like, for, for the universe to be like showing me how the universe is looking out for me. And so I think that also adds to the fact that like, I don't, freak out so much. So it's been reassuring to also just, like I said, just be like, cool. Every time while I guess I'll put it this way. Overall, I'm not really freaking out, but I have my moments where I do. And every time I kind of do, within a day or so, like abundance finds me. Like a job, even if it's a smaller job, like and not like a career based, like it something finds me and pretty much is the message and tells me like everything's gonna be okay. And that's really nice. So as an event marketer and event strategy, if you have a lead, let me know. Let your girl know. But work life, cons, no job, no secure salary, kind of scary. But pros, my mental health is good. And I'm really, really grateful for that. Like I really genuinely do feel okay. Which again, like I said, in the past I would have spun out and been freaking out. But that's not me anymore. I won't let that affect me. Oh, and so far so good. I'm really proud of myself. If you're looking for something real, like really real, Single to Shadi is the place for you. We know traditional dating apps can feel anonymous and overwhelming, especially when you're looking for something serious. That's why Single Shadi has created a space where marriage-minded South Asian singles, like you maybe, can connect with people who are serious about building a meaningful relationship. The goal is simple: curate introductions based on mutual compatibility so you don't have to waste time on casual matches. Join Single to Shadi and be part of a community where meaningful connections and lasting relationships are the focus. All right, so now let's talk about my social life, especially my friends. Um, I have been a hectic mess in especially the first half of the year. Like things have just been a little cuckoo. Um, but all of that has helped me put into perspective how grateful I am for the friends that I have. Peeling back the curtain into my deeply personal life, back in April, there was a shooting at my apartment. I wasn't living in like a quote dangerous part of town or anything, but the apartment did have a string of car thefts. And I also was one of the people whose car got broken into twice, two separate occasions. And I I was shocked but not entirely surprised. The TLDR of the whole thing was that it was a targeted it wasn't just like a shootout, it was a targeted issue. Two people were shot and died. I heard the shots and wasn't the only one uh who heard them and called the police, but it was terrifying. And as someone who also lives far away from her parents and like immediate family, especially, I did not tell them. I did not tell them. I have a younger brother whom I did tell because I was like freaking out, of course, but I did not tell my parents immediately. I think everyone understands this for obvious reasons. Like, I didn't want them to be worried or be like, come over here immediately, or, I'll come to you immediately. And it's just kind of like, let me take a moment to process. But I did lean on my friends and I fled my apartment and stayed with a friend for 2 days. And another friend helped me look for new apartments. And when I finally did move, a bunch of friends helped me move. Even friends who were like newer in my life were like, oh my God, yeah, totally. I'll help you move. Just let me know. And I just feel so blessed for that. It really just puts again into perspective the fact that even the people that you don't know for a long time can really be there for you. And when I did eventually tell my parents everything that happened and who I turned to and how people helped, they were like, "Oh, okay." And I don't know. I think they also were like, "Okay, cool. You had places to go and people to lean on, and we're glad that you do." They did not say it in those many words, but it was the gist of things. And so like I said, I'm really grateful for the friendships that I had, especially because I'm a person who struggles to ask for that kind of support from people. It's one of those things that I worked on myself and had a realization by honestly casually dating and realizing that I have a problem with letting people in to help me out for completely reasonable and good reasons. So I just really appreciate that. And I just wanted to share that's an awesome thing with friends and to not overthink it. But on the topic of overthinking, I do have some anxieties in the friends world as well. Um, there's the friend that I feel constantly worried about who was also bringing out a side of me that I didn't like about myself. And I needed space there. And me and this person were really close, and it was really hard. There was a friend whom I was close with for quite a few years. And even though I was glad to see her back in town for a few months, she didn't seem to want to see me. And I decided not to poke at it. I decided not to try too hard to find out why, or if it was in my head, or if it is a true thing. And I don't know, space happens with people, and I still wish the best for this person. And if they wanted to rekindle the friendship or talk about if something's going on, like they know where to find me. And either way, I wish them well. And in some ways, I guess I'm not gonna poke and prod and try too hard, but I still will. Their birthday came and passed as well, and I wished them a happy birthday because I'm not going to. I don't know. I'm not going to not unless the person is like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. I don't see the issue in wishing them a happy birthday. So yeah, there's that, and then there have been feelings around the friends who um I've known for a long time and don't really like reach out or listen to this podcast, at least not that I know of, because they haven't said anything to me about it. Um, but I reach out to them when I'm in their neck of the woods, or it's convenient for like to them. There's no bad blood there. It's just kind of blah, like like there's a catch 22 that like the friendships are a two-way street that takes effort on both parties, but also a lot of these friends live way different lives than me, and so their priorities are just completely different. And I think the priorities in their life are just different, and so I can't blame them for that, especially as someone who is not married, does not have kids, and a whole life around that to even understand. Um, the few times that few friends have, just kind of said, these are the things that are going on, and I'm like, oh wow, okay. And or they'll tell me like, thank you for reaching out. I'm glad you're coming by, or it's good to see you. It's good to have like adult friendship time. And I'm like, yeah, of course. You know, I I'm here. But it is kind of weird sometimes, some of those friends who have their own things going on and I have my own thing going on. And I try to support them, and not all of them necessarily are openly supporting some of the things that I do. And I don't hold it against them. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's nice. It would be nice if someone did, because while there are those friends that are busy with their own things, and I don't blame them for not reaching out or knowing what's up with me, there are some other friends who do have a bunch of their own things going on, but every now and then will like give me a nudge, you know, like something, or notice that I'm doing something, or ask me what's up, or invite me to things, even if I'm not in town. And it's just more of like letting you know what's happening in my life. And I love that. So it's just, it's just a thought process, or it's just thoughts that I'm sharing with y'all. Um, and so I have those anxieties as well. I have a lot of those thoughts as well. Um, and so to sum up social life and friend life, the con is that not every friend is a great friend forever. And it can be sad, but with that, there's the pro of the friends who do show up and take a vested interest in who you are and what you're doing are the best. And I'm really, really lucky to have those people in my life. If you are looking for a lucky person, check out Single to Shadi's fourth annual speed dating weekend at Skinos in New York City. It's coming up soon, September 12th and 13th. So head to the Single to Shadi website to grab your spot. Whether you're in your 20s or 40s, navigating the world of dating with kids, or just doing your thing, there's a session designed for you. Don't miss this unique opportunity to connect with South Asian singles in your preferred age group and make meaningful connections. All right, now on to the juiciest details, which is it's the dates of the updates, my dating life. If you have been following on Instagram, you know all about Pub Guy. And the TLDR, for those of you who aren't following me, first of all, what are you doing? But the TLDR there is that met at a pub on St. Patrick's Day. So, yes, that's March. Reminding you that at the time of recording this, it is July. Um, but we met St. Patrick's Day, um, like just two random people at a pub. If St. Patrick's Day was a Monday, I lived near an Irish pub, so I went like I don't know, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon because I was just like, why not? And he was there, and we connected, and then he got my number. But then I was going out of town for a while. When I came back, when I told him when I'd be back in town, and he remembered, and so that was the big deal there, that he remembered and messaged me like, hey, are you back in town? And so we love a man that takes initiative and shows that he's clearly interested. And it just got annoying from there a little bit. We went on one lunch date where he was also really communicative and like decisive, and that was really nice. But from there is where it just gets like weird. So we hung out a few times with no quote, romantic interactions happening. So I eventually just asked him, so like, what exactly are your intentions here? Because I see his eyes literally checking me out. Like I see them dart around my body, looking at my shoulders, my chest, my arms, or whatever. Like I see it. So like, what, like, what are you doing? Because he's not acting on it. He said he does find me attractive, but he's really only interested in friendship. Weird answer, but okay, because if you're like, why tell me I'm attractive if you're not going to do anything about it, you know? So strange. I did like fully hearing that he said like he just wanted friendship. I still gave it like kind of one last chance because he asked me to go to a soccer match. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it one last shot. I got really cute, like date level cute, and went to a soccer match. He was a gentleman. He paid for everything. But again, other than checking me out and like a sort of kind of flirty job, he didn't do anything. So I was like, okay, clearly he's really only interested in friendship, and I'm not gonna try like that anymore. Like, the consent of it all, and also the like, why should I chase this if it's not a thing? So I was just like, all right, I'm not going to try anymore. I have enough friends, TBH. And I think having a male friend who finds me attractive might be more drama than it's worth at this time in my life. Might be more complicated, so I don't really need that. And so I just was kind of over it. Um, yet this guy keeps texting me. So reminder again, it's fully the summer, right? Um, Zero moves have been made. We've hung out a small handful of times. Again, since I think we ended up having our quote lunch date in April. And one day he asked me if I wanted to have a pool day with him. And so I was like, why? Because he keeps checking, and I was like, you keep checking me out, flirting at me, but you do nothing about it, and now you want to hang out with me at a pool. And I told him, I was like, I accept that you want friendship, but like you are doing all these things. And he caved and he was like, I didn't know you noticed how I was looking at you, but yeah, I'd be down for something more casual if you are. And the truth of that was, I do not know. I am not sure. Old me would have jumped at it and been like, yes, absolutely. Because I think the old me was very much like, I would rather have something than nothing. And even if it's casual and goes nowhere, like I'd rather have that and that sort of level of validation than none at all. Um, and so for like a guy to propose that, like, oh, but how about a casual thing, a casual fling? Um, Again, old me would have been like, absolutely. But the me that I am today was just really like, you know what? I don't know. Like, it really just, my whole being was not enticed by this offer. And I was like, I will have to consider it. I was like, I'll consider it. I'm not opposed to it, but I'm not for it in the way that, my former self would have been. Um, so I was like, well, if you actually show that level of interest in me, I'll consider it. Because at the end of the day, I want to listen to, my body and the things that I do feel like I need. And if it's I want a little attention like that, like, okay, I want a little attention like that. But if I'm also like, that level of attention is not helping me or feeding, my being in any way, or like contributing to anything positive, then I don't feel the need, like I ain't thirsty. You know what I mean? There's no need for me to pursue that. um and spoiler alert, he didn't really try that hard. He still, I think at the time of me recording this, he said it about a month ago, which would have been sometime in June. And it's July. Actually, it's the end of July, and still it has not happened. Nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. But he does keep texting me. Uh, we have like random hangouts. He asks me to like coffee the day of. He's like, "Hey, you free later today for coffee?" I'm like, "No, I'm a busy person. Uh, I need at least a couple days heads up." Especially for someone who's just like I don't really know you like that. It's one thing if it was like my good friend. I'm like, I don't really know you like that. I'm not gonna just like drop whatever I was planning to do for the day or whatever I had scheduled or whatever it was or is to come have coffee with you or grab a smoothie or whatever. So and PS, it's not even, like I said, it's like coffee and smoothie asks, not even like a nighttime, do you want to hang out? You up kind of thing. Because like honestly, I wish you would even try to show that level of interest because at least I would know. But he isn't even doing that, which is so strange to me. Um, but whenever he does text me, I do reply because TBH, I have no other prospects and nothing else going on. And it's not like I reply to him immediately or it's not like I play a game with him. I'm just like, oh, he texted me. And I will reply, like, are you free to hang out? Most of the time it's no. If it's, are you free next week? Be like, yeah, I am. But if he doesn't also plan something, like, I'm not going to chase him down. The one time I initiated a text to him, it was this whole like, oh, we should figure out a pool day. And I was like, I have 0 Saturdays available. He was like, let's do it on a weekend. I was like, I have 0 Saturdays available. And, I told him, I was like, just FYI, all my Saturdays are booked up. because we had picked an arbitrary day, and then I was like, I don't know if I'm available. Let me let you know. And I told him I'm not available that day, and all my Saturdays are now gone. He was like, damn, you're busy, so that we're gonna have to try for a Sunday, or what about a Friday? And I said, those are both options. I'm open to it. Still, didn't nothing. Nothing. He didn't plan anything. He wasn't like, let me grab a Sunday before it's gone. Just didn't do anything. And that's not my fault. I don't chase, I attract. I'm not going to chase him down and track him down for it. He's an adult. If he's not going to do it, then quite frankly, he's going to miss out, not me. So, yeah, so there's that. Aside from Pup Guy, here's a little exclusive that I haven't talked about really. There's a guy I developed a little crush on, and we'll call him Facebook Guy because it was off of Facebook of all places. So I saw him post in a singles group that I'm in, and he honestly seemed familiar. And so before I knew it, I was checking, I was like on his Facebook profile, and I saw we had mutual friends on his profile from my life back home. And I'm from New Jersey, so I was like, oh, I was like, you look familiar. Do I know you through college people or dance people or people of people? Because we have some mutual friends. And like it's kind of a random group, like gathering of people. Most whom I know from dance, my life back home. And it turns out I don't really know him, but like me, he is also originally from New Jersey. And he was saying how he still felt new to town and figuring out how to get it to feel more like home. So I was sharing all the things that I've done, and he was super receptive to everything. Like, oh, brother, that's so amazing. I love that you did that. You're so wise. That makes so much sense. Like, he was gassing me up, and it felt really good. And then at some point, he did the thing where he said, by the way, no rush on replying. I'm about to get really busy at work, so I'll reply later. And I was like, instant crush. Instant crush. A man who clearly communicated that. And it wasn't even like maybe some part of me was like already sort of crushing, but when he did that, I was like, wow, I love this. um, and so it turns out he likes to frequent some spots in my neighborhood. And one particular Friday night, we were messaging while he was at a coffee shop in my neighborhood. And he says he's a night owl who likes 24-hour coffee shops and whatever. And it was around 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And we're messaging back and forth. And I was low key waiting for him to just be like, hey, if you're up and we're messaging, just come by. We could chat in person because he's in my neighborhood. So like, why not? But instead, he was like, well, I have to get to some work now, so I'll chat with you later. Cool. And I replied, this is me making the effort, by the way. I replied saying, I appreciate how you communicate. Next time you're in the neighborhood and want to converse in person, just let me know. And about an hour later, he replied, it was like around 10:30 at this time. And he replied, I'll be here a few more hours if you'd like to join. I'd love to meet a shiny new friend. What? I was like, too late. Sorry, I already changed for the night and I'm staying in. But if it was like an hour ago, I would have totally come by. Next time, though. Also, like shiny new friend. What the fuck? But like, okay, fine, whatever. Um, Once again, I don't chase, I attract. And I figured, whatever, I'll probably not hear from him again. I was wrong. The next time he was planning on being in the neighborhood, he did reach out. But unfortunately, I was hosting trivia and I was not available. And since then, there's some random reply ping pong, situations and not much else. And I have no idea what to make of this and I have no idea where it's going to go. That little crush is just kind of, I don't know. I don't want to call it completely squashed, but it's definitely not really a crush anymore. I'm just kind of like, okay, you want to be friends. And even though the conversation was like really organic and really nice, like, okay, so maybe you're not feeling the things that I mean, feeling the things that we haven't met, right? We haven't met, nothing's happened really. Um, but if you're not interested in meeting, sooner, which the last time he said something, he was like, we were like one of the previous conversations was about hobbies and he was like, well, right now my priority is trying to find a new job, so I'm not really like partaking in my hobbies. And I was like, okay. um so yeah, i I'm like, whatever. Maybe I'll run into him at a coffee shop one of these days. When every now and then I do go and sit in a coffee shop and do some work, but I definitely don't go in the evenings because that's not the vibe. So that's my dating life summary, I guess. But cons, big old question marks around everything. Otherwise, about not everything, but like whatever is categorically falling under dating is a big old question mark. Um, Otherwise, nothing is happening. But the pros are that I am not falling back into old habits. Old me would have chased these men down and flirted as hard as I could to get what I wanted out of it. And like I wouldn't have like waited for an invite if I knew which coffee shop that guy was in and I could have just shown up. I think old me might have low key done that and been like, whatever, we were talking online, so I decided to just come. Uh, but I was like, no, no, not gonna do that. With Pub Guy, like I have been that person that's way more forthcoming and is like, yo, you need to make a move or you need to do something, or like I would have just thrown myself at him. And I'm not doing those things. So that's the pro, is that I have exhibited this growth and I'm a lot more sure of myself. And again, really believing in the I don't chase, I attract. If one of these guys are supposed to make it to quote the finish line, um, they will. And if not, someone else worth it will. And I'm not gonna stress myself out about any of that. Otherwise, when the right things are supposed to happen, they will. So I hope you enjoyed those updates on my life. It's all real feelings and how I'm kind of handling them in real time. I'm quite optimistic about most things in my life. Even if it's not exactly where I want to be, I still believe that I am in the right direction. As I said before, I feel like I'm in a in between state, and I thought this would make for a fun sort of timestamp episode of let's see how things change in the next 6 months. It might be fun to see in a couple months from now, like, oh my God, remember when I did a whole episode talking about blah 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 blah. And now this crazy thing has happened, whether it's job or love or friends, family, whatever, other things. Um, if you follow me on Instagram at Curry Bacha, you'll probably see and hear about them sooner. So check me out on there.